Hey guys, welcome to Bullshit Games. I'm the Lich Lord, and this is
The Merc.
And tonight I'm here again.
It's Halloween.
Yeah.
We've resurrected the Lich Lord from the dead.
Resurrected. But yes, tonight we're gonna talk about a few scary games, and we're gonna talk about next month a little bit. What's gonna be going on here?
Yeah.
Maybe some other stuff that's gonna be coming up in the future, but who knows?
Funny enough, by scary games, next month is going to be all about the terror of space and space combat. So it's still kind of spooky.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on how you feel about spooky things. So, as you know, we did the spooky game series here. I covered like four games that we've played.
Yep.
And I talked about Touch of Evil, Elder Signs, Apocalypse, and Pandemic.
Yep.
So, is there any spooky game that you would like to talk about that I didn't?
Yes, there's one in particular that I was thinking about just before we did this video, because we talked about it. But, I'm going to talk about Letters from Whitechapel for a little bit, which is a game that was...
Why don't I get the box while you talk?
Yeah, it was just recently remade. It was an old game from, like, the 80s, or the early 90s.
Oh, God,
but they just remade the game with new graphics, not graphics, but, new boards and new tokens and things of that nature. And it's a really fun game. We've only played it, I think, two times. But, yeah, it's a pretty awesome game. The basic premises of it is that one player is Jack the Ripper, while the other player is basically the police force that is attempting to capture Jack the Ripper. And
the parts are going everywhere.
Yeah. And it's basically just kind of like a game of cat and mouse. It's really kind of intense, and you got to be extremely strategic. I think we actually did a battle report.
We did talk about
where
it.
we kind of unboxed it and looked at some of the pieces.
And, we will link that in the description below. That was back when we had a working webcam.
Yeah, that's like a year ago now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a really fun game, and it is a horror game, but it's more of like a mystery game.
It's more like a psychological thriller.
Right. Because, it's not like supernatural or anything. One is a murder, and one is police force just attempting to catch the murderer. But it's really fun, and it's really, when I first got it, I wasn't exactly sure about it, but, after playing it, twice, it was just two really intense games, and they were really fun. And I would check it out if you haven't played it.
It is made by Fantasy Flight Games, if you're curious. You can find it on their website, or at thewarstore.com, or Miniatures Market, wherever. If you have a decent gaming store around you can probably find it there, too.
Probably average game board price, $60 or so.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can find a deal of the day on a miniature market or something like that. And sometimes you can buy them used, which I've always been iffy on buying used games just because you never know if you're going to have missing pieces. But I'm sure you'd probably be able to find it cheaper than 50 or 60. I think I got this for 30. Something from Amazon. So. Yep.
The only other spooky game that we have that I didn't really talk about, is Level 7 by Privateer Press, which we've only ever really played twice.
Yeah.
It's a tile-laying game where you're escaped prisoners in a special underground government facility.
Yep.
And the game starts with a few tiles shown, and as you explore, you lay more tiles out to create the map. There are a certain number of guards and aliens, I guess they were.
Yeah, kind of like hybrid aliens.
Yeah.
I think they're half human, half alien. You want me to get the box?
You can get the box if you want. And basically what you're trying to do is each game, there's scenarios in the rule book, and each scenario has its own objective. And it's kind of a cooperative game because normally when you're playing it, it's better for you and the people you're playing with to play together. But that usually falls apart at the end because usually somebody has... Oh, God. Usually somebody has completed the win condition. There you go. No, there you go.
There we go.
Somebody has completed the win condition for the scenario, and they're nowhere near the elevator to escape, but other people are. So that game is fun, and the tense element to that is the randomness of the tiles.
Then there's always just the you don't have to necessarily cooperate with the person you're playing with. You can kind of it can turn into a scenario where it's whoever runs faster is going to win. Mm-hmm. But which can be fun if it's with the right people, can be very unfun if it's with the wrong people. But I think both times it kind of ended up being a mix. There were times where...
Well, I think both times we played it ended up you won one and I won one just because the person that won was closer to the elevator than the person that lost.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say to kind of wrap up talking about spooky board games in general is they are always better if you play them with the right people.
Yeah.
If you're playing with people that are like-minded and are in it for the atmosphere and the experience, put on some creepy music like Midnight Syndicate or horror movie soundtrack, maybe dim the lights, and, scare each other.
Yeah.
That's the way I think is best to play those kind of games.
Definitely. Otherwise, it's just, what's the point?
It's just a board game at that point.
And
it's still fun.
It's still fun. There are people who game like that and just don't care about what you're talking about. It's not scary. It's a game.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. Generally, those people are not the people you want to play this type of game with. But
unless
that's all you have to play with. Yeah.
Unless you're looking to play the game that way, too.
Right.
So, moving on from that is kind of the wrap-up to Spooky Game Time and our Halloween just month in general. Apologize that we didn't get to do anything super awesome like last year where we did the playthrough of Elder Sign, but we just haven't had the time.
Yeah, this has been a rough semester, I think, for both of us. It's been a lot of work. It's my senior year to your junior year, so it's like this is starting to come down to the wire.
This, for me, is the hurdle to jump before my senior year, and hopefully things will just be easy at that point.
It doesn't get easier. It's harder. But anyway, that's a completely different video.
So, I guess the other thing we want to talk about is what next month is going to be. Next month, as I said, we're making the jump from board games back to miniature games, and we'll be exploring the terrors of space and the heroics of space combat in Spartan Games, Firestorm Armada.
Yes.
Now, we should say that I know people that have watched the channel for a while, we have been with Spartan Games kind of since the beginning.
Yeah, since Uncharted Seas was the first game we got into.
We hopped on board with Uncharted Seas when it came out, and it just makes sense that when Firestorm Armada the version 1 came out, that was we picked it up automatically. We got all the Mark I fleets, played it a couple of times, and then quit.
Mm-hmm. And once again, that was kind of around the time when we stopped playing 40K and started getting out of fantasy and stuff like that, and looking for other games. And this is kind of what we found. We've been playing it ever since. So
not Firestorm Armada.
No, we're just getting back in.
Yeah,
and it's not. We never really stopped playing because we didn't like it.
Yeah,
it's just that Spartan was still really in its infancy, starting to get new stuff out and starting to make better products. And I'm not trying to say they made bad products, or they made great products then too, but
they were maturing.
Really improved.
Yeah. And I think something that's important to say when we first got into this, we were trying to get our whole group involved.
Yeah.
So we bought every starter fleet and we tried to provide fleets for everybody, and you can't do that and enjoy the game.
That is one thing you got to say about Spartan Games, and now, is that they were really cheap for a starter set.
Yeah.
It was around $30.
They are a very affordable company to get into.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it is always a mistake. It's not that it's only it's hard to get interested in the game if you're not interested in the faction you play. And I think the problem is we just had so many factions and we never concentrated on one, so you didn't get all the extra, cool extras like the heavy battleship and stuff when that comes out, or heavy cruisers and things of that nature. So
because we're always trying to play the balance game of keeping the fleets balanced, and
right,
it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
And the other thing, we had people we were split on sci-fi space games. We tried Battlefleet Gothic.
Yeah, which
that just didn't know. I understand people out there love that game. We don't.
Yeah.
It was just, I don't know, something about it I just didn't like.
I like the models, and that's about it. I thought some of the models
really like
cool.
They were all very samey.
Yeah, that's true. Well, okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of just, it's...
But this is going in a direction that...
Anyhow, that's completely a different video, yeah.
Basically what's brought us back to Firestorm Armada is the release of Planetfall.
Yeah.
And we want to wait until Planetfall is more of a fleshed out line. So we're going to try to pick a couple of fleets in Firestorm Armada that we really like, so that we can have ground forces in Planetfall that match our fleets in Firestorm.
And it's, for a while, it'll probably just be me and you playing this game.
Yeah.
But who knows, maybe the group will get into it and we'll start having big nights. I doubt the group will get into it as much as they got into Dystopian Wars, because that was huge, and we have a few guys in our group that are really into historical gaming.
Yeah.
So, obviously Dystopian Wars isn't really historical, but there's a lot of historical elements to it, like it's, actual not actual countries that exist, but countries that are on a map that is similar to what we have today. So there are a lot of people who got into that because they were into that sort of game anyhow. But we'll see. There's one guy in our group that will probably play this.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And your dad might play this too. Hard to say.
Oh, the nice thing is he can just use one of the fleets we already have.
Yeah.
I guess just because we kind of want to show off some old school models, we have some what you would call, I guess, legacy models. These are the old Mark 1s that came in the original starter fleets for this game. I don't even know if you can buy these. You might be able to direct order them from Spartan Games, but I don't know. I don't know.
There are some models that are in various states of disrepair.
Well, and you're going to be able to tell that they're older models because the resin and they have yellowed. Yeah. Because we just never got around to priming them, so the resin has yellowed.
Yeah. But without further ado, I will present the Dendrizi Federation made battleship.
It is the Mark 1 battleship, which I don't even know if the new Dendrizi ships have the space here anymore.
I'm not sure. I don't think they do.
I don't think they do.
Honestly, it's a cool model, and as you can see, it's pretty good size, and it's good, chunky model.
The one thing,
But as you can see, I need to reglue that.
Yeah.
By the engines.
Yeah.
But ultimately, they're pretty good models even then.
But for people that are new to Spartan Games, you can see how the models have kind of progressed. Now, here is the Cerulean Mark 1 battleship.
Yep.
I mean, it's not a bad-looking model by any means. But I have seen pictures of the newer models, and they are very, very nice. I think they have just a bit more detail than these do currently that we have.
Yeah, I think this is I think this might be a newer one, but or just a newer fleet. But this is the Ralthusa battleship.
Yeah,
and I think this is one of their more later releases. So this isn't from back in the day. I actually got this a year ago, I think.
I do still think it's their Mark 1 battleship, though.
I think so. But I mean, and even in this, you can see a lot. It's hard to see the detail without it being painted, but you can see that just a lot of the sculpts look like they were better and just a little bit more detail.
And then probably one of the ones whose I know the fleets have changed a lot is this is the Mark 1 Terran battleship, which is a huge honking model. And you can see all the turrets on it. It's almost a Star Destroyer-like in its look. And this ship was 3 pieces plus all the turrets.
Yep.
And from the way the pictures look now, I think most of the ships are 1 piece or at least a few pieces.
I have an example of one that is actually pretty new, and you can just see a lot of the improvements on it. But this is the Cerulean Dreadnought. As you can see, first off, the base is much better. It's got 2 stands instead of 1, and
it's much more appropriate to the size of the ship.
Yeah, and the detail on it, if you can see it, is much better, and it's just an awesome ship in general. I think this was 1 piece, and there was the back thruster, this part had to go on, and these 4 wings that are on the sides went on. But other than that, I mean, it was just pretty much 1 piece. It's an awesome model.
So needless to say, next month we are going to be diving into Firestorm Armada. One of the things I plan on doing is, like we did with Dystopian Wars, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to kind of go through each section of the rulebook to give just a kind of a basic heads up of what's in it, what kind of the rules are. Because I think people like that when I did it with the Commodore rulebook for Dystopian Wars. So the other thing is, hopefully, probably not next month, but hopefully we're going to be getting something to record with, battle reports with. I know we've said that a lot, but that is the plan. That is the overall goal. Yep. And we will be bringing you Firestorm Armada battle reports. Yeah. We'll be bringing you all kinds of battle reports when we get that. The other thing we're going to do next month, because I know I have Thanksgiving break during that time, I'm going to try to get some stuff painted. Yeah. Even if it's just 1 ship, I have gone so long without painting anything because of school that if I can just get 1 ship painted, I'll be happy. Yeah.
I've just recently got an order. I placed an order in the summer for a bunch of Drop Zone Commander stuff. And I really want to paint that up because I painted up my entire army so far, and I really want to keep that cut. I don't want to like get behind because it's one thing I have painted completely.
See, I haven't even been able to get the new rulebook for the for that yet. But yes, next month will be a Spartan Games Firestorm Armada month. We will be doing some probably just painting videos, talking about the rulebook. We might talk about some tactics, like tactics with the fleets we've picked. I know right now it's looking like I'm planning on doing the Terran and the Ceruleans.
Yep. I'm looking at doing the Dendrizi and the Rothusa.
So it'll work out nicely. I'll be playing 2 Kurak Alliance fleets, and he'll be playing 2 Xenian League fleets, which they are the opposing factions in the game. Another thing I'll be going over is I'm going to be picking up the Kurak Alliance Fleet Guide, which is a 144-page book that has all the rules for the fleets that are in that faction, plus fluff, plus paint schemes, plus some named fleets. So that should be pretty cool. I like to show you guys stuff like that because if you're thinking about picking it up and you don't know what's in it, it might give you an idea of if you want that product or not.
Yeah, definitely.
So with that, October, spooky game month.
It came and went.
Draws to a close.
Me getting playing close to as many spooky games as I would have wished we would have gotten a chance to.
And we will be opening a new frontier next month with Firestorm Armada. Hopefully you guys liked the video. If you did, leave us a like, comment, subscribe. Share us with your friends. That's always cool.
Yep.
And we will see you next time here at Bullshit Games. Maybe he'll even be here.
Maybe.